Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at some of the biggest headlines surrounding XRP, Cardano, lots going on in the crypto space. And I am just somebody that reads the news, apparently, according to some numpty on Twitter. Look, I think there's much more to what we do than just reading news articles, but it is important to cover these off for people because although some people can read and write, people do prefer to digest the news in this format. They don't want to search through it all. They want to receive it and understand it and get somebody's opinion on it. And that is what we're doing here. If you enjoy this sort of content, mash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. Right, let's get down to the desktop. So we're going to start here on coin market cap. The total market cap of all crypto globally is up 1.04% in the last 24 hours. Get this, $1.06 trillion. Bitcoin at 26,612.36. So a nice little pump to the upside from Bitcoin. Now, yeah, look, we've said to expect a volatile market, right? I think you know, we're expecting a little bit of a move upwards, but we are expecting the market to come back down at some point. So, you know, we need to be aware of what's going on. But let's get into the headlines, right? We've got this particular story here when it's, you know, really around the partner of Ripple, and that is SBI Remit. A lot of people seem to not know who these people are. Like, if you don't, go research them. They're huge. They're monstrous in terms of size of company. And they're looking to open some new remittance corridors with Ripple. So I think this is a really big deal. It's one to be aware of. We know that Ripple have been making big moves outside of the crypto. I say outside of the crypto. That's wrong. Outside of the US. And I think that's really important to be aware of. You know, knowing that, you know, they've got this stuff going on with the SEC, Ripple has still been going about their business, right? They don't need, like, the US. Like, they don't want to move out, but they don't need it, right? Like, it'd be great, but they can just do their business outside the US. So it's good to see all this sort of stuff. We got Fortress CEO says that hackers stole up to $15 million, mostly in Bitcoin, prior to the Ripple acquisition. Really interesting acquisition. Again, I like what, you know, Ripple are doing here. I think Ripple are going to, you know, really set people, you know, their imaginations flying over the next few months with some of the stuff that they seem to be working on. We've got Ripple wants to turn every e-commerce company into a crypto company. And this is something, again, I found rather interesting. And I do think that, in essence, every company is going to become a crypto company, a blockchain company of sorts. I think, you know, every industry is going to be touched by crypto. And on Twitter, I've started doing use case examples for different, you know, cryptocurrencies and different projects in the space, right? And, you know, we talk about insurance. You know, insurance is going to be, you know, covered by blockchain. You know, smart cities, you know, everything's going to be on the blockchain. Everything's going to be tokenized. You know, when you purchase something, it could have an integration of blockchain technology. It could be something that you tap your phone on and it's all authenticated on the blockchain. It could be, you know, the whole tracking, you know, from purchase all the way to the delivery could be on the blockchain. There's just so many different use cases for cryptocurrency. Identification, another one. There's just so many. And yeah, look, I agree with what, you know, Ripple are looking to do, right? I think that every brand's going to become a blockchain company. I really do. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that. It might not be aligned with everybody. XRP's expansion here, and they set their sights on 3 fresh countries. Again, kind of what we were talking about earlier. Really interesting stuff. We've got to be keeping an eye on, like, you know, the Philippines, for example, Indonesia, Vietnam. You know, the list goes on, right? There's so many opportunities out there in this big world. And I think, the US seem to sometimes forget they're just a country in the world. They might be one of the biggest, but ultimately there's lots of places to do business around the world. And I think sometimes they forget that, particularly some of the people in the US, they seem to forget that a lot. We got Deutsche Bank taps into another company here and looking to basically have more crypto custody services. This is a big U-turn here. I think it's Taurus is the name of the company, and this is a big U-turn because they were not going to go near crypto, Deutsche Bank, and at least publicly that's what they were saying. If you actually have a look at their roadmaps, project plans, there was crypto integrations, when it comes to stuff like CBDCs. But yeah, this is something else, and it actually brings me to something that was actually mentioned not so long ago. That basically, in a nutshell, I think it was the Ripple CEO had said that banks were going to have to get on board, or they were going to go bankrupt, and I think that's very much the truth, and very much how we're going to start to see all these banks flooding into blockchain technology. We got the Ethereum co-founder with a surprising prediction for the SEC. I read this and I did wonder if he had been smoking something, because basically what he's saying here is, in essence, the US will realize what they're doing, and they will go at a good pace. Matter of fact, they will set the pace, and the rest of the world will follow the US, right? And America will see that decentralized protocols, blockchain, and cryptocurrency aligns with the philosophy of the US, and the rest of the world will follow suit. I don't know if he's not really been about that much, but that's not how I envision what's been happening right now, right? Correct me in the comments if you think I'm missing something here, but the US seem to be way behind everybody else, not ahead. And I don't think governments around the world are waiting to follow the US. I think they're making their own decisions, and I think that ultimately the US are going to have to do a U-turn. They're going to realize they effed up, and I think they will end up following some of the other governments around the world. Look, I've been public about my thoughts on the fact that I believe that a lot of the regulations are, the governments are going to get regulation wrong in the first couple of incidences. I think the UK are doing that right now with some of the marketing aspects of things that they're looking to do. They're looking to do things for the right reasons, but they're getting it completely wrong, and they're not listening to lobbyists, and they're still going ahead with some of this stuff, and they're just going to see businesses like ours leave the UK, right, and find a more suitable place to run the business. And there's smart Alex out there on Twitter that would have you believe that stuff's FUD, but I've had conversations with some of these exchanges, and they're not going to be doing business with certain companies if they're based in the UK, right? They only do business if they're outside the UK, because they don't want that perception of approaching the UK market, right? So there's lots of PR spin going on. It's one of those, but people know better than me apparently, even though I talk with the exchanges and legal people, but whatever. Let's move on. Emurgo to invest and fill 21 areas missing from the Cardano ecosystem. These are basically things that are prominent in some of the other bigger ecosystems of other blockchain companies. And he doesn't really go into the details of what these 21 categories are, but, layer 2 solutions are one of the things that he's touched on here. Really interesting read. I'm going to drop it in our Discord for people to read through at their leisure. Let me know what 21 gaps you feel that there are for Cardano. I think there are some gaps, but I think actually if you look at, total value locked on Ethereum, that's been significantly pulling back, whereas the polar opposite has been happening for the likes of Cardano and, various others. So, who's got it right and who's got it wrong? So let's see. I think that, it's not a race to get to where you want to be. I think it's about getting to where you want to be in the right way. And it's going to be interesting to see which project got it right. So we got 2 Ethereum rivals overtake Cardano on one certain metric, according to a sentiment firm. Really obvious what this is. It's going to be around commits and the amount of work that's happening on some of these projects. And basically it's Polkadot and 𝗕𝗪. They've seen more development activity on the development hosting platform GitHub than Cardano in the past 30 days. Look, you know, for me, Polkadot, 𝗕𝗪, Cardano, Chainlink, even 𝗕𝗪𝗪, I think these are projects all working very, very hard, doing some really interesting stuff. And, you know, look, it can just, you know, be a lot of small things happening. It can be a lot of big things happening. And I think we probably need to look at the actual work that's happening on these ecosystems rather than just looking at the number of commits, because, you know, you can work quick doing small tasks, or you can work quick doing big tasks, and I think that they're very different. So and that doesn't really translate in these numbers, in my opinion. But I do think that it's good to see. We want to be monitoring, you know, what project teams are doing. Are they working really hard? Are they looking to deliver against the roadmaps with the timescales that they've set? Because many projects will, you know, remove dates and remove roadmaps entirely in this sort of you know, phase of a bear market. So, you know, for me, really important over the next 5 to 8 months, we're keeping an eye on these project teams that we're investing our money in, asking tough questions if we're not seeing what we believe we should be seeing. Obviously do this in a very pragmatic like way, making sure that, you know, you're not rude in any way. But, you know, I think we should be asking challenging questions if, you know, if deadlines aren't being met, plans are changing, and certainly if projects are, you know, going with the interoperability side of things, when really I think they're just looking for, you know, more liquidity because perhaps they're struggling. And I think it's okay to mention, you know, that you're struggling, and be straight with people. I'd rather be investing in a project that's honest and transparent than one that's dishonest and not willing to answer questions. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, mash up that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a news reading article video from me ever again. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.